Hi, folks, and welcome to March 24th edition of Money and Politics. And we're going to be taking a look today at Humbl predominantly and pretty much keeping it to that. I often kind of go off on a couple of tangents or maybe try to pack too much in. And I really don't have a whole lot today, but I'm going to cover Humbl, and of course we know that on Friday the stock ticker is changing, and we know today we had a sell-off at the end of the day that we're going to come back to. But first, the other thing that happened is Humbl put out a video on Humbl Financial. This we haven't had a whole lot of that, so let's take a look at that video, and then we'll come back. And this runs just about a minute.
Okay, let's talk about how to subscribe. So go to Humbl Financial and go ahead and log in. You'll find subscribe now buttons everywhere, so we'll click that. And the first thing that you'll see is we need a place to enter in our license key. So all you have to do is follow the prompts. So click link to subscribe, and you'll be led to a place where you can click subscribe. It's only $4.99 a month. Now here's the checkout. So you would just push pay and subscribe, and then you've got your license key all generated. Simply copy that and go back to Humbl Financial, paste it in and submit, and boom, you are in. Now you can start accessing the platform.
Okay, so one of the things one of the viewers was asking about was if people in the United States could utilize that, and the answer is no, you can't. It says at the end in some of the print that was probably went by a little too much. It's off screen here. Let me just look aside. Humbl Financial products are currently only available using Bittrex Global. Humbl Financial products are not currently available on Bittrex US or to customers in the United States. I expect that will change at some point, but no, to the answer to your question, no, you can't be using those now. And I wish I could find it, but one of my followers on Twitter, who is a Canadian, shared on Twitter, and I was trying to find his tweet, and I just couldn't find it right off, where he was saying that he has been using the different boxes on that system, and that it is really something that has proven to be very advantageous financially. He is putting like I don't know, as I recall, like $1,000 in some of the different boxes, and that's just traded automatically, and he has had a great deal of return. And as we saw in the video, so it's about $5 a month, and that's where Humbl is going to be making their money. It's so hard to judge how much money we're going to be making, Humbl that is, as we go ahead. But if this takes off, what I like about this is this could be huge, and I just don't know what we're really going to have to see. And I'm trying to put into context where we are with Humbl at this point in time. We know the story up to this date, and the end of March coming up here is going to be the end of the first quarter, and then we'll start to get, hopefully in April, some reports from the company on what kind of acceptance they have had in the initial stages of marketing these products, and that's what I'm looking for right now. So the last 2 days previous, we were up about 9%. I'm rounding off the last 2 days equally on Monday and then on Tuesday, and that came to a gain of about 20%. Then today we were up, and let's just take a kind of a look here at the action. Humbl is in black and forwardly is in red. You certainly see that they don't always move in unison. How much down forwardly was, why I'm not sure, but then they kind of came back, and then they fell off the cliff in unison. And you might say, well, why is that? And honestly, I don't know. I'm going to say that it is probably just profit taking. We have had people, probably a lot of you watching, in fact, probably most of you watching, had a lot of money back in February. And let's just see if we can bring that up real quick. So when we went shooting up there, the red line here being forwardly and the black again, Humbl. When we went shooting up, there was a lot of money that then kind of came out of the system. And so I think what happened is a lot of people were looking at the recent uptick and what we've seen over the last 5 days, how it came down and then went up, up, up. Kind of flattened off here today, the black line, and then boom. And I think that was in the last hour, and I think people just thought before anything else happens, they wanted to take some money off the table, and that's what I expect happened. So that's the story on Humbl today, and again, we're going to be getting some information coming up. Now, the other thing is kind of behind the scenes. I am trying to wrap my own head around NFTs. I had someone ask me, a couple of people asking me about talking about these non-fungible tokens. I think those are big, but I don't feel that I know enough right now to talk about them. So I'm educating myself on them, number one. And number two, something you need to know about me is I'm a stable guy. And by that, I mean, I'm not trendy. I don't go rushing off onto the latest craze. I like what I know, and I like to know what I'm endorsing is solid. So I'm not going to endorse something until I know it, okay? So I'm doing my homework on that. But I would, looking at some of these other investment gurus that are out there, and maybe they're fine, maybe they're great. But, you know, one of the stocks that came to my attention was, I believe it's one of these art companies influenced by NFTs. And this thing on March the 10th was $2.60 or so. And then on March the 23rd, it was, which was yesterday, went up to $70. You may know what I'm talking about, but I believe it's TKAT. You know, hey, if only we knew, we could have all retired in 2 weeks. You know, we could have bought at $2.62 and sold when our money shot up to, you know, nearly $70. But we don't know. And to me, folks, when you get market action like that, that's not investing. It would have been great to have made that profit. I'm not saying that, but it's not investing. And what I'm trying to do here is to walk you through the world of investing that I know to be true, that is not trendy. And I'm not telling you just to go out and jump on the latest bandwagon and to take crazy risks. I don't want you to be losing your money. You're going to lose money on your own here and there. You're also, hopefully, from what I tell you, are going to make money over time here and there. But investing is not a get-rich-quick scheme, so I am always trying to damper down those expectations. But I will be educating myself on those NFTs, and I'll be looking at that. The one last thing is I am responding to some of the requests to look at different stocks. Sometimes I'm just responding online to under the comments section of the videos that come out daily, sometimes not as often on Twitter. So there was a stock yesterday I responded to, and I did some research, and I didn't do a video about it, but my point here is some of these, the majority of these companies that I'm being asked to look at are penny stocks. Now, if they're solid companies, great. Let me, bring them to my attention. But this one yesterday, and I don't have the symbol right in front of me. I'm afraid I'll say it wrong, and I don't want to do that. It was about 8 cents. When I looked up their financials, and besides the numbers, they have financial notes from the company or from the auditor. And it says right in there, We don't have any money. We don't have any ongoing operations to fund we don't have money to fund operations, and the existence of the company is in doubt. And so, folks, you could have read that. You're just not doing your homework when you asked me to take a look at something like that. And forget about not doing your homework and bringing it to me. Don't be putting your money into companies that are just shells. I mean, they're as strong as an eggshell without the egg. You got to look at this stuff, especially when you're dealing with penny stocks. Humbl was a different story. I hope you know the story by now, with Brian Foote and his team, and that they have very, very credible technology, very credible game plan, and we will see what I suspect is very credible execution of their game plan. That's a real company. So just make sure when you're dealing with this, you're dealing with real companies. I have more or less like about a 10 items on my list of investing. And the thing I would say basically is this. You don't have to know that much about investing to be successful. You do have to do a little bit of work. So do that work. Be careful. Be critical. Go in as if you've been robbed before, and don't just go in assuming you're going to buy some 8-cent or 2-cent or some stock that's less than a penny. Don't just go in and buy it because it's cheap and think it's going to go up to 50 cents and you're going to retire before April. If you're investing with that attitude, you're making a big mistake and you're going to lose your money. So that's it. I already talked much longer than I thought. I'm just not good at being short. So anyway, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll look forward to covering what's happening in the world tomorrow. And that will include, by the way, before I close out, we're going to have testimony, Money in Politics, testimony on Capitol Hill tomorrow from Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, and Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO, of course, of Facebook. We'll see what they say and why that's important, because if Congress gets it in their bonnet that they need to make some changes in the law, that could greatly impact those stocks and potentially every other social media company if they remove some of the safeguards for the social media companies. So that could potentially be part of a developing story that we want to follow, and I'll be following then that for you as we go forward. All right. Thank you as always for watching. If you would give me a thumbs up and leave a comment about where do you think the price, this might be kind of fun, where do you think the price of Humbl will be by the time we get to June? That's the end of the second quarter. And we'll see. Where do you think the price of Humbl will be? Might be fun to talk about that in future broadcasts. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow night.